said we know what Dak is. I think this will. Did you know that Dak has the worst playoff winning percentage of any quarterback ever? Ever?
Wait, in league history?
League history. Guys who started at least 5 games. Tim, Alex Smith, and a guy Brew covered.
Well, Billy
Kilmer.
Kilmer. Billy Kilmer is probably.
And
a
so, like, that's no one ever's 0-5. Andy Dalton was 0-4. And there's and any of the 1-win guys didn't play enough games. And so I understand that this is I get what Brew's saying, which is he's I guess kind of saying the right things. I think that the Cowboys have done a masterful job by having such a bad season and changing coaches, of resetting expectations fully, where Brew just said maybe they win 10 games, and I said, well, look, they're over-under said 7.5. That would be great. When going into last year, it was, who cares if they win 13 games if they don't win playoff games, which is fair. It's also, by the way, with the knock on the previous Cowboys star quarterback, Tony Romo was, who the only reason he's not on there is because he's 2-4 instead of 2-5. Like, so it is, I think Schottenheimer has been fine with the quotes. I am always skeptical of hiring a guy no one else was trying to hire. But then again, that's how I got my job. So and so maybe it works out. But I think that he is looking much further down the road than the Cowboys actually have, like, any realistic opportunity to be looking at.
Yeah. I mean, Dak Prescott having one of the worst playoff records in the playoffs is pretty wild. I did not know that. I mean, you know, I don't live and die by the win and loss record in terms of quarterbacks. I don't think that's 100% fair, but we do know in Dak's case, he has not had great games. And, you know, one of his playoff wins is against a 75-year-old Tom Brady and a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that was just absolutely collapsed. And they made Tom Brady, who's retiring, throw the ball like 90 times. I mean, like, that was one of the most ridiculous games I've ever seen. Truly. But yeah, I mean, if you think that Dak Prescott is now magically going to just be something that he's fundamentally not, I don't know what to tell you. Or that the Dallas Cowboys are going to fundamentally change who they've been. And the way you do that is by hiring Schottenheimer. I don't see it. I really, really don't. And again, to be clear, I'm not necessarily blaming that record all on Dak Prescott, just like how I do with other quarterbacks who are winning. I don't think it's all like Tom Brady winning all his rings. Like, he's won Super Bowls where the heavens were just like, here you go, bud. Here you go. And he's lost Super Bowls where the heavens are like, nope, I'm taking it from you. And it's like, what the heck? Nick Foles, are you serious? Eli Manning. So, but I do think it's fair, though, to point out that he hasn't truly elevated his game in moments that mattered most, right? Like, he just has not done that. And you can't blame the team. I mean, like, because we can go on and on and on with the Dallas Cowboys here. In 23, when they got rocked, 9 All-Pros, 10 Pro Bowlers, when they got rocked by the Packers. You know, 8 Pro Bowlers in 22. You know, this was when they kept winning 12 games, 6 Pro Bowlers. I mean, like, they're winning all these games. They're having all this momentum, only to come significantly short. Like, in those playoff losses, it was just like, you just knew this was not a team that could win. You just knew you could, when you look back on how the game unfolded, you're just like, oh yeah, no, this team is not good enough. And it's just like, what is the problem? The roster is not the problem. And quite frankly, the coaching staff isn't necessarily the problem either. Like, you had Mike McCarthy, you had Dan Quinn, like, you had the right pieces. You had Kellen Moore as an OC, who then went off and won with the Eagles. Like, so you can't constantly be pointing at someone else. You just can't, especially when you've consistently been the problem. Consistently. With different coaches, different rosters, different years, like different styles of play. And so, that's why with the Cowboys, I continue just to be like, I don't know. How they did not go absolutely all in to get a Ben Johnson, I'll never understand. I really won't. How they were not like, dude, Ben Johnson. You don't want Chicago. You're gonna come to the Dallas Cowboys. You think you're a big time now? The Dallas Cowboys. And it just didn't happen. Or Harbaugh, like anyone. And I really believe that Schottenheimer is going to be the type of coach that the Cowboys have had now for like decades. It's just going to be the same old, same old. I think the Cowboys are just going to consistently be kind of good, bad in other moments, kind of great in other moments, but like never quite there. I just don't see why that will magically change. Certainly not with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's not going to suddenly become a completely different quarterback when he's being exposed to the same things. Like Schottenheimer is now going to be the guy who unleashes Dak Prescott. Like that's what we're banking on. I mean, I don't really know what to tell you. And I think what Nick was saying about like kind of like how the expectations have changed, in a way for the team they should, when you fire the coach and get new, fire the coach and your quarterback gets injured, and like you are kind of hitting the reset button to a degree. If anything, it should be more about Dak, I actually think, because it's kind of like Dak, theoretically, you're nearing the end of your career. At the very least, you're nearing the end of your prime, if already maybe. Like, are you going to be a quarterback that just, you don't even get to an NFC championship game? Like, you're just, like, what's the story here? I think it's totally fair, especially if they believed, which, I don't think they believe, but let's just have fun. If the Cowboys actually believe that Schottenheimer was the guy to, like, build this franchise back up again, well, then if that's the case, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to give him a couple of years. I'm going to give him 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be, whatever the official timeline is. Because it's like, yeah, it's going to take you a second. Maybe you need to find your quarterback. Maybe you need to do this. Maybe you need to do that. But it's just like, Dak doesn't get that luxury because of everything that he's done with this team for the last, near decade. So, but it is interesting because Nick does bring up a good point, how those last few years, minus this past year, it was very much like Cowboys got to get to a Super Bowl. They got to get to an NFC Championship game. Like this is crazy. They got to get there. They got to get there. They got to get there. And now it's kind of like with a new head coach and Dak Prescott coming from an injury, it's like making the playoffs would feel like a win. Winning a playoff game, it's like if you beat a wild card team, it would be like, all right, yeah, there we go. We're back in business now. And it's just like, feels like it would be pretty good. And then even if they lose, as long as they don't get rocked in like a divisional round or something, people would be like, all right, we're moving forward, a step in the right direction. And it might be kind of a little bit of an hallucination, a little bit of an illusion more than a reality of an actual trajectory. I mean, it really will all come down to the type of coach that Schottenheimer is. If he's a great coach, bring it on. If he's not, then you're just getting exactly the same that you've gotten. The team itself is not going to be good enough, and Dak Prescott himself is not going to be good enough. And it is concerning when you have a coach as old as Schottenheimer who just never got the opportunity. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Dallas Cowboys? Are you liking what Schottenheimer is talking about? When we win, our coaching staff is going to get rated. I already unpacked that in another video, so I kind of just left that comment to the side. But how do you feel about the Dallas Cowboys moving forward? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.